Hey, stop what you're doing right now because what I'm about to share with you could be the single most important thing you watch this entire year. Most people believe that getting weaker as you age is simply inevitable, that your legs giving out, your balance failing, your ability to climb stairs or get up from a chair fading away, they think that's just nature. Well, I'm here to tell you today that is one of the most dangerous lies ever told to the senior community, and I am done staying quiet about it. I'm Dr. Sophia Ahad, and in my decades of clinical practice, the number one thing I've seen rob people over 60 of their independence isn't heart disease, isn't diabetes, it's the silent collapse of leg muscle. And here's what's shocking. Research published by the National Institute on Aging found that adults over 60 can lose up to 8% of their muscle mass every single decade. And after 70, that number accelerates dramatically. But what that same research also confirmed is that targeted nutrition can slow, stop, and in many cases reverse that process. Not drugs, not expensive procedures, food. And before we go any further, I need to tease something for you because item number 1 on today's list genuinely surprised even me when I reviewed the literature. It's something most seniors are completely avoiding because they were told it was bad for them. And cutting it out may be one of the reasons their legs are failing. So stay with me all the way to the end because that one could change everything. But before we dive in, I want to ask you something personal. And I read every single comment on this channel, so please answer below. How old are you right now, and when did you first start noticing weakness in your legs? Was it climbing stairs, getting up from the couch, walking to the mailbox? Tell me in the comments. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Now we're counting down from 10 to 1, ranked from powerful to extraordinarily powerful, the 10 foods that directly target leg muscle strength in people over 60. Let's begin. Coming in at number 10, and don't underestimate this one just because it's last on the countdown, is canned sardines. I know half of you just made a face, but hear me out, because this humble little fish might be doing more for your legs than your gym ever did. Here's the problem that nobody explains properly. After the age of 60, your muscles develop something researchers call anabolic resistance, which simply means your body becomes less efficient at building and repairing muscle tissue even when you eat protein. Think of it like a door that used to swing open easily, and now it takes twice as much force to push through. Sardines help you push through that door in a way almost no other food can. A study from the University of Stirling found that omega-3 fatty acids, which sardines are absolutely loaded with, can reduce anabolic resistance by sensitizing muscle cells to protein synthesis signals. In plain English, omega-3s help your muscles actually hear and respond to the signal to grow and repair. One can of sardines delivers roughly 2 grams of omega-3s, about 23 grams of high-quality complete protein, and something most people never think about, calcium from the soft edible bones, which supports the neuromuscular connection that makes your legs fire properly when you need them. I had a patient, Margaret, 71 years old, from Boca Raton, Florida. She came in using a cane, convinced her walking days were behind her. We made several changes, and sardines were one of the first things I put on her plate 3 times a week. Within 4 months, she was walking her neighborhood without the cane. She called my office crying. That phone call is why I do this work. Eat sardines on whole grain crackers in a salad or straight from the can with a squeeze of lemon. Pair them with a small amount of vitamin C, like bell pepper or tomato, because vitamin C dramatically enhances the anti-inflammatory effect of those omega-3s. 3 times a week is your target. At number 9 is something you probably walk past every single week at the grocery store without a second glance, and that's beets. Deep, dark, gorgeous beets. And the science behind what they do for aging legs is nothing short of remarkable. As we age, blood flow to our muscles decreases. The tiny capillaries, those microscopic blood vessels that deliver oxygen and nutrients directly into muscle tissue, they become less efficient, they narrow, and the muscles quite literally begin to starve. Research from Wake Forest University found that dietary nitrates found in extraordinarily high concentrations in beets increase nitric oxide production in the body. Nitric oxide is your blood vessels' natural relaxation signal. It widens them, improves blood flow, and gets oxygen into muscle tissue up to 38% more efficiently in older adults compared to doing nothing. What does that mean for your legs? It means less fatigue, better endurance, faster recovery, and significantly reduced cramping. That horrible nighttime leg cramping that so many of my patients over 60 suffer from. One study in the Journal of Applied Physiology showed that older adults who consume beetroot juice before exercise improve their performance by 12% compared to placebo. 12% is enormous when you're 68 and trying to stay mobile. Roast your beets with a little olive oil. Slice them into salads. Or if you want the most concentrated benefit, drink 4 to 8 ounces of pure beetroot juice, no sugar added, about 90 minutes before your walk or any physical activity. Pair beets with leafy greens for a synergistic nitrate boost that amplifies the effect even further. Number 8 is one that I prescribe to virtually every patient over 70 who walks through my door, and they're almost always surprised. Greek yogurt, not regular yogurt, not flavored yogurt, plain full-fat Greek yogurt, and the distinction matters enormously. Here's what's happening inside aging muscle. After about age 65, your body's ability to process leucine, the specific amino acid that literally flips the switch for muscle protein synthesis, begins to decline. You need more of it to get the same response you got 20 years ago. Research from the University of Texas Medical Branch in Galveston showed that older adults need roughly 40 grams of protein per meal, not per day, per meal, to trigger the same muscle-building response that younger adults get from just 20 grams. That's the cruel reality of aging muscle biology. Greek yogurt is one of the most leucine-rich, easily digestible protein sources in existence. A single cup delivers 17 to 20 grams of protein. It absorbs rapidly, and because it's fermented, it actually improves gut health, which matters for muscle because a compromised gut dramatically reduces how well you absorb protein from any source. Think of your gut like a customs checkpoint. An inflamed, unhealthy gut lets very little of that precious protein through. Greek yogurt clears the checkpoint. I have a patient named Gerald, 67, from Nashville, Tennessee. Gerald was a construction foreman his whole life, strong as an ox, and then after 65, he started feeling like a stranger in his own body. We put Greek yogurt with berries and a tablespoon of honey into his breakfast every single morning. Within 6 weeks, he told me his legs felt like they'd woken up from a long sleep. Eat it in the morning to front-load your protein or within 30 minutes after any walk or exercise. Pair it with a banana for the potassium, which improves muscle contraction and reduces cramping in combination with the protein. So gesture number 7 will surprise a lot of you. And honestly, I love that because this is one where the mainstream health conversation has done seniors a tremendous disservice. Number 7 is whole eggs. Yes, the yolk included, especially the yolk. For decades, people over 60 were told to eat egg whites only. Throw away the yolk. Avoid the cholesterol. And while that advice came from a good place, the science has evolved dramatically. And for aging muscles specifically, discarding the yolk may be one of the biggest nutritional mistakes a senior can make. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition at the University of Illinois found that subjects who ate whole eggs after resistance exercise had 40% greater muscle protein synthesis response compared to those who consumed only egg whites. So even when protein content was matched exactly, the difference was the bioactive compounds in the yolk: leucine, healthy fats, vitamins D and B12, and choline, all of which work together in aging bodies to enhance how muscle tissue is actually built and maintained. The yolk is not the enemy, the yolk is the signal. After 75, your body loses approximately 35% of its ability to synthesize vitamin D from sunlight alone. Eggs are one of the few natural dietary sources of vitamin D, and low vitamin D is directly correlated with accelerated muscle loss in older adults, a condition clinically called sarcopenia, which simply means the progressive loss of muscle mass that comes with aging. 2 to 3 whole eggs per day is a reasonable evidence-supported target for most healthy seniors. Soft boil or poach them to preserve the most nutrients, and pair them with a slice of whole grain toast for the complex carbohydrates that fuel the muscular work that egg protein supports. Number 6, and this one has thousands of years of history behind it, is lentils. Small, cheap, underestimated, and for aging legs, absolutely extraordinary. The challenge with protein for many seniors is that meat becomes less appealing, harder to chew, or causes digestive discomfort. Lentils solve that problem entirely while delivering a protein punch that rivals many animal sources. One cook cup provides 18 grams of protein, plus something that makes lentils uniquely powerful for aging legs: a combination of iron, folate, and magnesium that directly supports oxygen transport to muscle tissue and healthy nerve signaling. Research from Tufts University's Human Nutrition Research Center on Aging, one of the most respected institutions studying exactly this population, has shown that magnesium deficiency, which is extraordinarily common in adults over 60, directly impairs muscle contraction efficiency. Your legs literally cannot fire the way they should when magnesium is low. 1 cup of lentils delivers 37% of your daily magnesium needs. That's not a small number. Beyond that, lentils are rich in resistant starch, a type of fiber that feeds beneficial gut bacteria, reduces systemic inflammation, and improves insulin sensitivity. Why does insulin sensitivity matter for muscles? Because insulin is one of the primary signals that drives amino acids, the building blocks of protein, into muscle tissue. Better insulin response means more of what you eat actually reaches your legs. Make a simple lentil soup with turmeric, garlic, and spinach. That combination is anti-inflammatory and synergistic in ways I'll explain when we get to item number 3. Have it 3 to 4 times per week. And pay attention to how your legs feel after 30 days. And right here, before we move into the top 5, the most powerful foods on this entire list, I want to ask you something. If this video is opening your eyes, if you're realizing you didn't know half of what I've shared so far, then please take 2 seconds and hit that like button. It costs you nothing, and it helps this information reach other seniors who are struggling in silence. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do it right now. I put out this kind of science-backed practical content every single week because I believe you deserve real information, not watered-down advice. Hit subscribe and the bell so you never miss it. Now let's get into the big 5. Number 5 is wild-caught salmon. And if you only make one change from this entire video, this might be the one to make. Salmon is perhaps the most comprehensively studied food for aging muscle in the scientific literature. It delivers omega-3 fatty acids, yes, but it also provides a taxanthin, a carotenoid pigment, that gives salmon its pink color and acts as one of the most potent mitochondrial protectors ever discovered. Here's why that matters. Your mitochondria are the power plants inside every single muscle cell. They are what generates the energy your legs use to stand, walk, climb, and live. After 60, mitochondrial function declines significantly. Research from the Mayo Clinic has shown that this mitochondrial decline is one of the primary drivers of age-related muscle weakness. Xanthan has been shown in studies from Hokkaido University in Japan to protect mitochondria from oxidative damage and actually stimulate the production of new mitochondria in aging muscle cells, a process called mitochondrial biogenesis. Think of it like building new power plants inside your legs. New power plants mean more energy, more endurance, and stronger contractions. A 6 serving of wild salmon 3 times per week is the evidence-based sweet spot. Wild caught matters because it contains significantly higher levels of xanthan than farmed salmon. Pair it with a generous portion of leafy greens dressed in olive oil. The healthy fats in olive oil dramatically improve xanthan absorption because it's a fat-soluble compound that needs fat to cross into your bloodstream. So number 4 is one of the most ancient, studied, and repeatedly validated foods in human history for muscle and joint health, and that is turmeric, specifically the active compound inside turmeric called curcumin. I want to be very precise with the science here because turmeric is often dismissed as mere kitchen spice, and that dismissal is costing seniors dearly. Inflammation is the engine of muscle degradation in aging bodies. When your body is chronically inflamed, which it almost always is after 60, it shifts into what researchers call a catabolic state. That means a breakdown state. Your body begins breaking down muscle tissue faster than it builds it, and your legs bear the brunt of it. Curcumin is one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory compounds ever identified. A landmark study from the University of Tsukuba in Japan found that curcumin supplementation in older adults reduced inflammatory markers, specifically IL-6 and TNF-alpha, the two main chemical messengers that drive muscle breakdown by up to 40% over just 8 weeks. And it did so without a single side effect. But here is the critical detail most people miss. Curcumin on its own absorbs terribly. Your body barely uses it. You must pair turmeric with black pepper, which contains a compound called piperine, and that single addition improves curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. Not a typo, 2,000%. So never cook with turmeric without adding black pepper. Add a teaspoon of turmeric and a 4 teaspoon of black pepper to soups, stews, scrambled eggs, or warm milk with honey every single day. Daily use matters because the anti-inflammatory benefits are cumulative. Number 3, and this is where things get really exciting, spinach and dark leafy greens. Now, before you scroll away thinking this is basic, please listen, because what spinach does for aging legs operates through a mechanism that most doctors have never discussed with their patients. Research published in Cell Chemical Biology, a prestigious scientific journal, identified a compound in spinach called ecdystone. And what they found was that ecdystone binds to estrogen receptors in muscle tissue and activates the same anabolic, meaning muscle-building pathways, that are triggered by steroids without any of the hormonal side effects. The researchers noted that it was so effective they raised questions about whether it should be classified as a performance enhancer in competitive athletics. For a senior with naturally declining anabolic hormones, this is extraordinary news. Beyond ecdystone, spinach delivers nitrates for blood flow, magnesium for muscle contraction, folate for cellular repair, and vitamin K for bone density, which directly supports the skeletal framework your leg muscles attach to. After 70, bone density and muscle strength are deeply interconnected. You cannot have one without the other functioning properly. I had a patient named Dorothy, 78, from Phoenix, Arizona. Dorothy had been told by 3 different doctors that her leg weakness was simply part of aging and nothing could be done. We revamped her nutrition completely, and spinach became a cornerstone of every lunch she ate. After 90 days, she called to tell me she had walked to her neighbor's house for the first time in 2 years. She was crying. I was not far behind. 2 to 3 generous cups of raw spinach daily, or 1 cup cooked. Pair with olive oil and lemon juice. The vitamin C in lemon improves iron absorption from spinach by up to 67%. And the fat in olive oil carries the ecdystone into your cells far more effectively. Number 2, and I told you early on that I would tease the food that most seniors are completely avoiding because they were told it was bad for them. This is close, but the true number 1 gets that crown. Number 2 is red meat, specifically lean grass-fed beef. And yes, I mean eating it regularly. Here's what happened. The anti-meat messaging of the past 40 years, however well-intentioned it was for certain populations, has created a catastrophic protein deficit in the senior community. Millions of people over 65 are eating chicken breast, occasionally fish twice a week if they remember, and calling that sufficient. It is not sufficient when your anabolic resistance is high and your muscle loss is accelerating. Grass-fed beef delivers something almost no other food can match in terms of quantity and quality in a single serving: creatine. Creatine is the primary energy molecule for fast-twitch muscle fibers, the fibers in your legs responsible for explosive movements, balance recovery, and preventing falls. Research from the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research showed that older adults with higher creatine intake from dietary sources had significantly better balance scores, faster reaction times, and greater leg strength compared to those who ate little to no red meat. Additionally, grass-fed beef contains carnitine, a compound essential for transporting fatty acids into mitochondria to be burned for energy. After 65, carnitine synthesis declines sharply, and low carnitine means your muscle mitochondria cannot fuel themselves properly. Your legs literally run out of gas. 3 to 4 ounces of lean grass-fed beef 2 to 3 times per week is well within current cardiological guidelines for healthy seniors. Cook it with garlic and rosemary. Both have independent anti-inflammatory and circulatory benefits that enhance how your muscles use the nutrients in the beef. SH. And now we arrive at number 1, the most powerful food for leg strength in people over 60, the one most people are actively avoiding, the one that could be the missing piece in your entire health equation. Number 1 is whole milk and full-fat dairy. I can already hear the gasps. But let me show you why the evidence is overwhelmingly on the side of seniors consuming full-fat dairy and why removing it from your diet may be actively destroying your leg strength. After age 60, your body's ability to synthesize muscle protein drops dramatically. The amino acid profile required to overcome this, specifically the leucine threshold needed to trigger muscle protein synthesis in aging bodies, is one of the highest in natural food. Whole milk hits that threshold in a single 12-ounce glass in a way skim milk cannot, because the fat in whole milk dramatically slows digestion and creates what researchers call a sustained amino acid release, meaning your muscles are being fed protein continuously for 2 to 3 hours rather than in one short spike. A landmark study from McMaster University, one of the foremost muscle research institutions in the world, directly compared skim milk to whole milk in older adults after resistance exercise. Whole milk drinkers gained significantly more muscle, had better leg strength scores, and showed 63% greater improvement in functional mobility tests over 12 weeks. 63% from choosing whole milk over skim milk. Beyond protein, whole milk contains a fat called conjugated linoleic acid, CLA, which has been shown to specifically inhibit the inflammatory pathways that cause muscle breakdown in aging bodies. It contains vitamin K2, which directs calcium into bone rather than arteries. And it provides a natural source of growth factors, IGF-1 precursors, that stimulate muscle tissue regeneration in ways that are particularly beneficial after 65, when your body's own production of these factors has dropped dramatically. I had a patient named Robert, 82 years old, from rural Ohio. Robert was falling regularly and had given up driving, gardening, and most of his independence. His daughter brought him in terrified. Among many changes, we reintroduced whole milk, 2 glasses per day, along with strength-supporting walks. Within 5 months, Robert drove himself to his follow-up appointment. He walked in, stood tall, shook my hand firmly, and said, "Doc, I feel like I'm 65 again. Is she?" That moment stays with me every single day. Drink 8 to 12 ounces of whole, preferably organic milk in the morning and again before bed. The bedtime serving is particularly powerful because overnight is when your body does the majority of its muscle repair work, and providing a slow-releasing protein source before sleep has been shown in research from Master University to significantly improve overnight muscle protein synthesis. Pair it with a small handful of almonds. The vitamin E and magnesium in almonds work synergistically with the calcium and protein in milk to optimize how your muscles recover while you sleep. Now, I want to take a moment before we close, and I want you to really hear this because I mean every single word. Losing the strength in your legs is not a trivial inconvenience. It is the beginning of a chain of events that takes people from independence to dependence, from living to existing, from having a life to merely enduring one. I have watched it happen to patients I cared about deeply, and I have also watched the opposite. I have watched men and women in their 70s and 80s choose to fight back, choose to take nutrition seriously, choose to believe that it was not too late. And they won. They climbed stairs again. They played with their grandchildren again. They took walks at sunset again. They reclaimed the lives that slow muscle loss was quietly stealing from them. It is never too late. That is not a platitude. It is a documented clinical and scientific reality. The research is clear. Your muscles retain the capacity to respond to proper nutrition at every age. Your legs want to be strong. Your body wants to move. All it needs is the right fuel. And now you have the list. Start with 1 or 2 of these foods this week. Add them in gradually. Notice how your legs feel in 30 days and then come back and tell me about it in the comments, because I will read it and your story will matter to someone else who is exactly where you are right now. If this video helped you today, please give it a thumbs up. It takes 1 second, and it helps this channel reach the millions of seniors who need this information and haven't found it yet. Subscribe if you haven't already, because every week I bring you science-backed strategies for living stronger, longer, and on your own terms. And today's comment question is this: which one of these 10 foods are you going to try first, and which one surprised you most? Tell me below. I read every single one, and I cannot wait to hear from you. God bless you. Stay strong, and I'll see you in the next